Basements. They're the underbelly of our homes, the dark, forgotten spaces where we stash things we'd rather not see. These subterranean chambers, often shrouded in shadow, hold a peculiar charm and an eerie sense of mystery. They are the unvisited, the overlooked, the places where dust gathers on memories boxed away. Considered the catch-all spaces of our dwellings, basements become the resting place for the obsolete, the outdated, the outgrown. Old toys, worn-out furniture, and long-forgotten memorabilia all find their way here, tucked away from our daily lives. Out of sight, out of mind, they say. But what happens when out of mind takes on a whole new meaning? Underneath our very feet, these hidden zones can harbor more than just the remnants of our past. They can become the keepers of secrets, the guardians of stories untold. But what if the things we've forgotten, the things we've stashed away, aren't just old boxes and unused exercise equipment? Imagine, if you will, a particular home with a particularly eerie basement. This isn't your typical dusty old basement filled with forgotten memories and cobwebs. No, this basement carries a much darker, more sinister tale. Nestled in a quiet suburban neighborhood, the house stands as a haunting reminder of the past. Its history, as rich as it is eerie, is filled with tales of unexplainable happenings and chilling occurrences. The house was built in the late 19th century and has seen countless families come and go. It's the kind of house that has character, that has stories etched into its very foundation. But there's one story that stands out from the rest. A story that still sends shivers down the spine of anyone who dares to speak of it. The basement of this house, you see, is said to hold a terrifying secret. Over the years, residents reported hearing strange noises in the dead of night, haunting whispers, eerie laughter, and the chilling sound of footsteps echoing from the depths below. Items would inexplicably move, doors would creak open on their own, and chilling drafts would sweep through the house, even on the warmest of summer nights. The local townsfolk whispered tales of the house being cursed, of dark spirits trapped within the basement. Unsuspecting families moved in, lured by the house's charm and seemingly peaceful surroundings. But it wasn't long before they experienced the chilling reality for themselves. One by one, they fled, leaving behind a house filled with unanswered questions and a basement that held a secret too terrifying to uncover. And despite the chilling tales and eerie happenings, the house continued to stand, a silent sentinel guarding its terrifying secret. Years turned into decades, and the house's fearsome reputation grew. But as with all things, time has a way of burying the past, of turning fact into legend and legend into myth. And then one day, a new family moved into the house, completely unaware of the dark secret lurking below. The family used the basement like any other, storing holiday decorations, old toys, and the like. It was the kind of place where memories were boxed up and tucked away, gathering dust in the shadows. But as time ticked by, the basement began to reveal a different side of itself, a darker side. The first signs of something amiss were subtle. A toy would be found out of place, an ornament would be discovered broken. Items seemed to shift on their own, and the family chalked it up to forgetfulness or the house settling. But then, the noises began. Soft, almost imperceptible at first, the sounds of something moving in the depths of the basement began to echo through the house. It was easy to dismiss these sounds as the house aging or the wind howling. But when the noises grew louder, more distinct, they became harder to ignore. The whispering rustle of movement, the creaking of the old wooden stairs, the faint tapping that seemed to come from the walls themselves, all gave the basement an eerie, unsettling aura. The family's fear and confusion grew as they tried to rationalize these events. They examined the basement during the day, finding nothing out of the ordinary. The noises, the shifting items, all seemed to occur only at night, under the cloak of darkness. As the strange occurrences continued, the family's attempts at rationalization became more desperate. They tried to believe it was all in their heads, a product of overactive imaginations. They even considered the possibility of an animal having found its way into the basement. But the noises, the movement, the ever-growing sense of unease, none of it could be explained away by wild animals or imagination. The fear and uncertainty took a toll on the family. Sleep became elusive, and every sound in the night seemed amplified, echoing through the halls of the house. The basement door became a symbol of their fear, a barrier between them and the unknown. But as the strange occurrences continued, they could no longer ignore the terrifying possibility that something was living in the basement. Finally, they decided to investigate, to uncover the truth of what was hiding in the shadows. Courage surged through their veins, pushing back the fear that had held them captive. Down into the depths of the house, they ventured, a familial band of explorers united by curiosity and dread. The basement, a forgotten realm of the house, seemed to breathe in the dim light, its secrets tucked away in dusty corners. As they began to sift through years of accumulated debris, they stumbled upon a peculiar anomaly, a wall that sounded hollow, a wall that shouldn't have been there. With a sense of growing dread, they tore down the false facade to reveal a hidden room. A room that was not part of the original blueprint, a room that was never meant to be discovered. A secret chamber, concealed within the bowels of their home, a silent witness to untold stories. The room was shrouded in an oppressive gloom, the air heavy with a sense of foreboding. The walls were lined with shelves, and on these shelves lay objects, each more unsettling than the last. There were old photographs, their subjects staring out with lifeless eyes, and aged documents filled with cryptic symbols and incoherent ramblings. There were strange artifacts, their purpose unknown, and items of clothing, worn and faded with time. And in the center of the room, a large wooden chest, its contents a mystery. Everything in the room bore the weight of a past that was best left forgotten, an eerie testament to a time that was no more. As they took in the chilling contents of the room, the implications began to sink in. The truth was far more horrifying than they could have ever imagined. Their home, their sanctuary, had been harboring an unspeakable secret, a secret that had been lurking in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. Inside the room, they found a chilling sight that would haunt them forever. The revelation sent shockwaves through their reality, forever changing their perception of safety and normalcy. The secret in the basement was a horrifying testament to the unknown, a grim reminder that sometimes things are better left buried. The family was left with a horrifying truth about their new home. As the ghastly pallor of realization dawned on their faces, they grappled with the chilling reality. The basement, which they once regarded as a mere storage space, was now the epicenter of their deepest fears. The secret of the basement was no longer a mystery. It was a disquieting tale of a past that refused to stay buried, a tale that had been silently unfolding in the shadows. The basement, it turned out, was the final resting place of a long-forgotten soul, a tragic figure who had met an untimely end within these very walls. The revelation was as chilling as it was heartbreaking. The basement was not just a basement. It was a crypt, a silent testament to a life abruptly ended, a life that had once echoed through the very halls they now called home. As the family grappled with the truth, they found themselves caught in a whirlwind of emotions. Horror at the thought of sharing their home with a restless spirit. Sympathy for the forgotten soul who had met such a tragic end. And a strange sense of guilt, as though they had intruded upon a sacred space, a final resting place that was never meant to be disturbed. The aftermath of the discovery was tumultuous. Sleep became elusive as the once comforting silence of the night was now filled with imagined whispers and unseen presences. Every creak of the house, every gust of wind became a ghostly reminder of the secret they had unearthed. But as days turned into weeks, the family gradually found a way to coexist with their unsettling discovery. They held a small memorial for the forgotten soul, a gesture of respect and empathy. They decided to seal the basement, to leave the past undisturbed, to let the forgotten soul rest in peace. The house, which had once been a symbol of new beginnings, was now a poignant reminder of a life once lived. Yet in a strange way, it had also become a symbol of resilience, a testament to their ability to face the unknown and find a way to keep moving forward. In the end, they learned a valuable lesson. A home is not just a place to live, it is a place with a history, a place that holds secrets, stories, and echoes of lives lived before. They realized that sometimes these echoes from the past can be unsettling, even terrifying. But they also understood that these echoes were a part of the home's identity, an integral part of its charm and character. And so they learned the hard way, that some secrets are better left buried in the basement. Yet, they also learned that even in the face of the most disquieting truths, they had the strength to face their fears, to show compassion, and to find a way to move forward. It was a chilling tale, indeed, but one that left them stronger, more resilient, and more in tune with the echoes of the past.